share this link with you guys. Let's find it. Oh, excuse that. Right. At least you can hear me. So today's cards, ladies and gents, if there are a few in the membership group that don't actually join in our lives. Where are we? That's the one I want. Hopefully you're able to join me today. Oh yeah, look, there's from yesterday. So if I go to create, go live, it should show me where I am live. There we go, in live. It's saying in stream, so I'm hoping there is a picture and that you are getting this, although you need me to share it, so you'll be watching. Let's copy that and put it into your membership group for you. This is all. Post, paste, post, post. There we go. So that's in there and on your Patreon as well. So you've got it live. I should have done this before I did it and it hadn't gone live. I clicked the button that does both this time. Don't want the library. So, excuse the little back end bit here. I have both the mics going, and if I'm close here, apparently you can hear me clearer with them both together. I'm going to work that out. It only seems to work when the headphones are plugged in, and as beautiful Rosalind pointed out, might be because the mic is only this bit here, not the top part, but that part of the mic. The sound issues that I was having with the Zoom, at least, are solved. Come on, what are you doing, Mr. Computer? Okay, so one of the things I want to address in here, as it's private, I do want to do these two cards. So these were the two cards that we pulled today, and I'll pull one live as well as an extra as a thank you for listening to for those that are watching this particular video. The dream, the journey that we're on is what I wanted to talk about with this. The drum, the beat, and the primordial sound, like the that kind of frequency, low resonant frequency about today, can be used for the positive, for you to connect to ground in these high energies, to dream into reality, the shaman's journey, if you like. And the black dragon, to me, is a metaphor as well for the black aspect that we see, our shadow black dragon energy, and our connection to our heritage, genetic heritage within. Hopefully you can still hear me, as all of that's the I would do a little live. I tried to do one earlier and the phone went dead, but without him in it, the structure is going up pretty fast now. We went and picked the flooring yesterday. So cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. There's a sense of needing to cocoon, having days of cocoons. Yesterday was down as a rest day, and tomorrow is a rest day, but I'm feeling that energy still, like a energetical hungover, if you like. As yesterday I felt like I was just awake, couldn't sleep, went to bed early with the intention of getting up a little bit earlier than normal, sort of instead of 5:35, but that didn't happen. So, and I feel the tiredness. I was speaking to some of the other mums that does the school run, that lethargy. They were up not really late, not being able to sleep. So whether it's because of worry and doubt and those themes coming in, worrying about finances, myself, it was trying to send light to a 3D experience that was referenced by someone channeling the Council of Nine, and not wanting to give energy to it in fear or fear mongering, but also wanting people to give them a chance, if they could, to plan to turn it around, to transform that energy a little bit by, right, oh, okay, I'm prepared if that happens. I'm going to take the day off today if the technology is going to be messed with. So it's the shadow side of that, and the shadow side of technology, our own dragons that we need to slay metaphorically, and then moving into the angelic aspect of the dragon energy, the dragon lines and the ley lines. Today is a day, as it said with this card, to meditate, reflect and undergo metamorphosis, and that's that going to the primordial beat, going to the womb-like creation energy. So I am going to read you what it says in the book for each of these cards, as well as while that's waiting for it to come up, I'm assuming that it's already going well. It won't let me pop it on Patreon. I'll have to do that after. So, cocoons you, Black Dragon cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. Sometimes we need to kind of have this time to meditate, time to reflect, time to undergo the metamorphosis. It's that time of transition that we're in between summer and autumn, with late summer that's very part of, like, we can tell, like today I was like, oh god, it's really cold, I've got layers on again. I was sitting with a blanket, whereas 3 days prior it was so hot I was in a vest and outside. So it's just, you can feel it, almost feels like it's happened overnight, but it hasn't. It has slowly been getting a little bit cooler. She says that I want to put my jacket round my back with the doors open or ajar. So allowing yourself to have that metamorphosis, you're going to need days where you go within. You're going to need time to sit with your journal, to sit and meditate, and it might mean that that conflicts with your daily tasks. Say when you're holding space for others, this is what I find, and I know a lot of you hold space or want to hold space or hold space, as light workers make up a majority of the people that are following me, that when you are in that holding space for others, you then are not necessarily holding space for yourself. If you are not tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then you can feel drained. You feel as though you need a break. That doesn't necessarily happen if you are taking the time to connect for yourself. It only happens if you're not connecting. So I'm not saying that, oh, if you feel tired it means you're never connected. It means that you're maybe not taking time for you, that you're thinking of putting others in the fact that we are all service in that light worker bracket, or for want of a better word, umbrella, warriors, carers, sharers, love activists of wanting to shift and anchor in, that you need to take the time for you. And this month, nature, as always, she just gets it right all the time. Being held by her and the mother, it reminds us of that primordial drum beat of creation. So get outside on the days you can, visualize with nature, even if you've got pictures that you sit, say it's pissing down with pissing down with rain outside, grab yourself an image, and I'd say do that without the phone. It's one of the reasons the lives, I stopped the lives because I was teaching, which obviously I enjoy doing, it's part of my purpose. However, I wasn't then allowing myself to process the stuff that was coming in. As I'm teaching, it's flowing. Sometimes then in the now moment, I don't plan my meditations, which goes against those social media gurus out there that say plan, have a rough outline, otherwise you ramble. And yes, I do go on at times because of that structure isn't planned. So in some ways I've started to connect with myself and just put rough points down, but I don't hold myself if I miss one or if I add a few in. when I'm in flow state as it's flowing. So allowing yourself to be able to connect and have self-care, self-love, self-care is essential. That's the words of Lee Harris 2 years ago. Never is it more true than at this current time, as things are stepped up, as more and more people wake up. In order to wake up, we need to see the systems that aren't working, and we're blatantly seeing stuff. So don't worry too much about if you're wanting to be in 3D, wanting to be in 5D, or what's going on. I'm not saying don't care. I'm saying care, don't carry is another expression there. I like my analogies. So fifth dimensional black dragons are powerful. They only come to us when we are ready to nurture a new idea or concept that will enable our divine potential to grow. So it may have been before that you've been around these concepts, you've been around certain things, for example, distinguishing the two different flowers, the organic ascension path and the inorganic ascension path, and knowing what the two are all about. You might have just assumed or put everything in the same category. For me, here's an example. When I first came into contact with the Ashalana Dean, I found it, to me, was very the things around it that I was being told by others, when I didn't discern through my own connection to source, I could see it as being maybe an us and them, right and wrong. There was a lot of black and white being, but actually when you go into the material, it's not. It's about being above that. It is about empowering you with understanding of our histories, so you can then discern for yourself. And when you're in your power, you know that you have no fear of that. It's fear of the unknown that kind of traps people. So black is the ultimate divine feminine colour, the shade of mystery and magic, of secrets and hidden hopes. When we are prepared to surrender to the black dragon, they will cocoon us in a silky black energy. And as we rest within the safe dark place, they will enable the new to develop within us. Eventually we will emerge like a butterfly, having undergone a profound metamorphosis. Now, you could say that's a really lovely, fluffy way of saying someone going through the dark night of the soul, which humanity is going through its own dark night of the soul in some regards. Also, that energy of Lilith, and depending on where you look up your information, you will get different connotations of that. But the one I heard recently from Bashard, which talks about that Adam and Eve is in the language of the Anunnaki. Those two names were in the seeding of genetics that happened within the Homo sapien. So, because we're homos, to creating the Homo sapien from, I can't remember what it was we were manipulated from. And now we're kind of becoming Homo sapien, I think it's called, which I think is a bit of a mouthful, as we evolve beyond. But that geneticist is still there. It was to do with the feminine and the masculine, words in their language, from those star beings that created. And the third of that was the blending. And Lilith is kind of to do with that. So it's worth looking into that a little bit more. Obviously, you may have different information that talks about that in a different way, but the language and where that's referenced from the angelics and the fallen angelics, of which we have in our themes, because that has been seeded through time in different time periods. That's interwoven in our religion and faiths, And for some, they cannot distinguish between the connection between the divine and the concepts and energetical archetypes that are that this is a hard one, because this kind of is a little bit confusing. If you believe it, you see it. Therefore, if we talk about it as an energy, we create it. It is a real thing by our creation, because we're the ones that create that. Oops, sorry. And as we create that, we create all these concepts, we create all of these gods, goddesses. And when you understand the preface of multidimensionality, you understand, and this is a bit of a head mind thing, but because we're this month and I can still very much feel that 9369 energy, this concepts of the Lowering Council of Time, these star beings are our future selves, that when we wanted to go back and change things, if you like, from ancestral, came and went back in time. It's almost like something out of Marvel, and changed things through different points in history. And there's various reasons. Those that talk about the Greys, for example, they are supposed to be a parallel universe to Earth, and a future. Within that future parallel, they deliberately stopped themselves from reproducing, and that caused lots of problems with within their field, and they had immense problems. They came here thinking they could use they had to come back in time for when our portals were at a certain spot, so that they could use them to go to the parallel to then go forward. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that. So then they realised that because genetically we are evolved from a different point in another history, they've then started to mess around with stuff. So it's a bit like, what do they call it? There's a name for it. It reminds me of what's those movies with the robots? It's like, if he didn't go back in time, he wouldn't have been born. Would it have happened? Kind of, it's that concept of this looping reality. But there is no time and space. Time is actually something we create when there's gravity present. So outside of that, everything's possible. Where these energies come from, they are part of all that is. And therefore there is no time. There is everything, every reality, everything is all possible. It's what we seed into the reality and the gravity in the now moment, which is why the point of power is in the now moment. So I've gone off at a bit of a tangent there, but it's to do with the shadow, and this shadow of these like shadowing wars that is galactic history, that we see as happening in the past, that in a linear sense it is, but also in a linear sense it's also the future. Because some of those beings, for example, according to the information Bashard shares, and his race are from a parallel future, and they are working with the beings that we think of the Zeta, whatever, the ones that we see as the Greys that do a lot of the abductions. That actually there was information that I've been delving into on the rabbit hole sense, where they've gone down this rabbit hole, but it gives me a better understanding. They knew that we wanted the technologies. They came into this point, obviously, to use these gates. They couldn't use that, and actually being in our atmosphere was degrading them. So they needed to evolve and work with the genealogy of the human so that they could stay here, and that has happened. They are part of elites. The governments themselves do not know. It's so far integrated. However, that makes them sound really, really bad. All they want is to be able to survive, and some of these other beings stepped in to put them on their higher path, and the majority are now, but there are still fractors or a fractal of that are like humans. Not everyone's good, not wanting to do that, wanting to do it in the plan that they want here for themselves. So that's part of this energy and this chaos energy, this dark energy, that gets played out a little bit in the 3D. A lot of that's being cleared because the majority are now kind of being policed, if you like, by the higher frequencies of these other beings. And this is all linked to what we call a regeneration project of the Ruby Order. So unfortunately, throughout our history into bursts, there are aspects that were not for the highest good of humanity, and it's hard to discern between the different people in play, if you like, because it was done on a whole other ball game that no one knew was being played, and we were sort of part of the pieces. So I'm personally still, through memories, deciphering what is true memory, what is not, because some of that, one of the abilities is to manipulate through dream. And so when I saw this card, the dream journey, it's going through and going in that future that I believe we've already averted personally. For example, the Pleiadians we see as being wonderful light. They are the highest aspect of what would have been in physical form thousands of years ago, the Anunnaki, which are not physical beings anymore. Their energies evolved. So that's the highest form of them in future. So obviously they want to guide back and do the best. You've got the different strains, which then gets confusing because there's actually hundreds of different ones, so I'm not going to go into it. But I wanted to go into the shadow because this is what I'm seeing, and choosing this card suggests time to rest, and feeling like your energy is possibly being drained or siphoned off in the etheric fields. So note to yourself that when you're resting, think of it as more recalibrating your energies, because whether you and I turn into whatever light being in the future or angel, however you want to see it, if you set the intention for it to be for the highest good of all, including humanity and all races, and I don't mean the races within humanity, I mean humanity as one race and the other celestial beings. And the more we believe in it, obviously you can choose to believe in none of that and think, no, they're just angels. It is a choice point. And I know that there are people that really love the whole angelic sense of it. So it kind of depends on what and where you're coming from. So choosing this card suggests time to rest, for it is during such moments of relaxation that divine projects, create ideas, or new ways of thinking are conceived. In times of peace and stillness, fresh seeds and ideas can grow. One of the premises we were talked about in Egypt is creation and destruction. We had to be the creator or the destroyer, like the Kali Mama energy. It is about the cycle of the Fibonacci code of where energy is currently right now. The difference between that and what we're moving out of that, we're actually moving out of that code because we've kind of cracked the code, if you like, to move beyond it as humans now that we're ready. And that was part of the plan. That was the divine plan. We were never meant to be in that forever. We was always meant to evolve past it and out of it from the creation. But so it's important to understand that, yes, that is part of this type of energy, destruction, and not to be fearful of our shadow. But also, I'd like to interject a third point of view. Rather than this, it's us and them, or it's all love and light, I'm kind of on the fence, in a sense, in lots of senses, being half caste, as they say, or mixed race, felt like I was on a sense between both. and hearing both sides and seeing the negative in both sides and the positive on both sides. And I feel that ability, that inherent trait in my genealogy is for a reason. Everything, there are no mistakes, is to see it from the higher part, to see both sides. You have to be on from high, but not lording it over. It's understanding that actually all points, all are valid, all valid experiences. So therefore, the creative cycle of destruction and creation is and has merit. So understanding your own ups and downs, peaks and troughs in energy, in how we might need a little cry, or we might need a little sleep, or our energy can't be wah, 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 wah. I know I seem like I'm that, but I'm not actually all the time. Sometimes just dozing, sitting there in the car waiting for my son to come out of school, dozing. So knowing and maybe scheduling time for that. That's what I've done. That half an hour for me now, as I do pick up and my friend does drop off, I sit there for half an hour. I have to get there early to get a space, and if I use it for what I need for me. That's there on my schedule for me. So the mighty black dragon wishes to create a dark cocoon for you now, so that you, the new, can germinate and sprout. Now, Matthias's teachings goes heavily into this. It speaks of the crystalline structure of humanity is like a crystal, and crystals are created under pressure and tension. They like the diamond comes from the coal. The carbon of our beingness is being shaped into a crystal, a diamond. That is us going through all and seeing beyond it. The mighty black dragon wishes to create the dark cocoon for you now, so that the new can germinate and sprout. You are asked to accept their assistance, for it will serve your spiritual growth. Take time to meditate or reflect, and the dragon will surround you with their breath. Dragon breath. Remember when I remember I told Claire during the Lightworker meditation that Claire was channeling divine eminence. I was kissed on the forehead by a dragon, and this was the dragon that I knew before I'd been released. I released it from chains, in metaphorical, when I was doing a healing with Yola, and this was kind of around the time this information was flowing through. It's the roots, the core, the past. To me, it's the Draco, all of what is talked about as dark and bad, and going beyond it, transmuting it, clearing it, freeing that aspect of the soul to go back to the highest aspirations of itself. And I'm asking you to kind of do the same. As I said, we work with these concepts of you, and I say it all the time. Qigong deals with these concepts of like shedding the leaves so that it can become having all your crap, so that can be cleared and transmuted. It's moving from a different way of creating, whether you're looking at the plus and minus, the electromagnetic field, electro field, and the magnetic fields, and how they interact, and their spin is kind of more in the scientific way of looking at it, which goes way beyond me. When you are ready, the black dragon will help you. Your shadows, your triggers can be the fuel for your change, is another way of wording it. You nature is growth. Ask them to help you. So see the vision until it comes to a glorious fruition. They will also be working with you in your sleep state. So some beings, because of the manipulation of how channels can be manipulated, and I was very aware of this when I was listening to that Council of Nine, what is said to happen in the US that I mentioned. So from when I'm recording this, it's 10 to 9 in the morning. It's meant to be about 8:30, but not our time, US time. So in LA, that will be around 12 o'clock, I think. It was 12:30 in the morning when I was looking before, so probably in another 6 hours, so sometime today. And knowing that some of that chaos energy has been stirred up for a reason. One of the things Matthias tells us to do is certain things are going to happen. We can't stop them. It's like the faulty wiring fires go off, and so you let you know where it's faulty. But we can direct the energy of that fire for the highest good of humanity. So if we can't change and force things, not manipulate it, but we can redirect it and re-signify what it means. And therefore, that influence is the tipping point for change. They will also be working with you in your sleep. It connects with this card as well, the dream journey. And as I said, so some channels, or when they're tuning in meditation, and I don't want you to be in fear, please don't, always set for the highest good, always do things with highest intention. But there are people that are have not had an awareness, have not done those protections. Maybe they're messing around with intention or magic and stuff, and opening themselves up through no fault of their own. Maybe they drink, maybe they have drugs in their system. All these things can affect what we allow in our field. So it's very, very important to have our hygiene, energy hygiene, at its best. At the same time, because we are pure energy light source, nothing can hurt you. If you know that, then you know you are naturally protected. And this theme had come up a little bit before because it was to do with the themes from Ashalana as well. And I believe that we've passed the point that when that information was written down in a book 10 years ago, it was relevant and that was a possibility, but we're beyond that now. We're already in the sovereign self more than we needed. So expect to be different and be ready to spread your wings. You are those angelics, the fallen angelics, as well as the ascending ones. So where was I? Yeah, state will also be working with you in your sleep state, so you may be aware of their presence, so acknowledge their help. This is a point where they can work with you, where those protections are in place. When I talk about the black cat guardian energy, it's so things can't go in. That's there, so they can help you. They can send you signals, and you see this as a they, a them, the we, the collective energies of what you call the angelics, messengers. There's different levels. They're contacting from different levels. So if before you go to sleep you set the intention that you want to be connected to the highest source relevance for you, for your soul, that will be the case, and that's what you'll be calling in. So the message with the drum, journeying inward and undiscovering insights, information that will be important for your path. They follow the guidance. In the shamanic traditions, in all four corners of the world, the drum is recognised as the main route used by medicine men and women to direct their will and aid meditation. So that was the other thing about the drum, the primordial beats connecting. Today, utilise it. And the essence of being in the shadow, being in the dark, womb-like state of primordial without fear. So even if you've got that dragon, one of the things we had to do prior to being in the king's chamber so that we could work with whatever we were doing is we had to align with our shadow. We had to face our shadow before. Otherwise, and it did happen this way, that obviously not everyone was ready, and shadows and shit happened after coming back, because you have to clear all of that. And it's still not that I'm perfect, because I faced that side on an energetic level, but on the physical level for me, It was the physics of my body and my chemistry and what wasn't working anymore for me, to be in those higher states, to align with that. My body needed to catch up. It still does. And the ego self and the me, the Theresa, that's not the multi-aspected self, wants to eat the vegan croissants that are in the kitchen, wants to have those nice things when we go out, and my body reflects that it's no longer in frequency with a lot of that stuff if I'm not doing what I've promised I will, which is to work on my bone structure, my internal structure. So as within, so without. So the medicine men and the women direct their will, my will, as it is so. This is so important, and aid the medicine. The drum beat can become hypnotic and send those in listening into an altered state that can allow them to journey to the spiritual realms and meet their guides. This was like sweat lodges, smoke lodges, there's loads of ways that people kind of get out of the head and into the heart. But even just closing the eyes and feeling the beat of your heart. When the drum card appears in a reading, there are opportunities for you to dream or to bring an inner vision of reality. That's the other thing that I'm hearing coming through, that might be why you're tired. You need to sleep because they're calling the instinct, the dream state, the communication between you and your higher being wants to communicate with you. You are very connected to other worlds at this time. The wisdom and intelligence of the earth and her magic surrounds you. The drum, which echoes the sound of Mother Earth's heartbeat, has cleared the cobwebs and dust that your inner vision, what you have seen in your dreams, in inner visions, is not imagination but guidance, particularly if it has been coming to you repeatedly, and has the potential to become reality. Dreams come true. Know it and live it. Know it, see it, believe it. Know it, believe it. Focus flows, energy goes, focus flows. That's the reality. In your dreams, one of the things as a child, when I was beyond concepts, I would dream things, I'd see them, they'd happen. And it was almost like, because the energy of the self, there's like these, it's like we're reading all these books. There's lots and lots and lots of books. And as we're reading these stories, they're different stories, they're different timelines, they're different high possibilities of reality. String theory and quantum physics comes into this. You're tapping into the one that's closest to 3D reality. When people channel information, this is why I spoke about what I was speaking about earlier, information like that, and it's from highest, you have to discern, is this fear-mongering? Is it for feeding off of that? Or is it because that is the closest possibility, and there's a genuine wanting to help and remind people that we are beyond more than the physical, and there is no death. We can experience death's multiple levels, but we are eternal. That may seem to some like a cop-out. I really think it does, and it angers some people completely. But we want to go beyond that and be from the highest. To me, it's about your intention, your choice, your will is your choice point. And the choice point's the now moment always. You made a mistake, you've eaten that chocolate biscuit, say. Choose to eat no more, put the pack away, chuck the pack in the bin, or forgive yourself. Or next time you're at the supermarket, don't buy them. That's what I did with the whole vegan biscuits. I was like, oh, Mummy, these are vegan. She went, oh yeah, we'll get those. Whole pack was devoured. So I am human. I'm not, because someone said to me, Tracy, you're always having your lemon, your celery. Yes, and so far today I've been good. Highly recommend a friend of mine, actually. It's this little plug. It's a free plug. It's not paid. But she has launched her a little kind of information pack about sugar. And I'm part of one of her members in her Healthy Habits Club, which is, we back and forth a lot. In fact, we're going to do a live. I joined one of her lives, and I want to interview her for Wellness Wednesday, which I'm kind of evolving as well into conscious conversations, wellness, well-being, wisdom. So where we talk about the conscious and we open up to possibilities with people that are of like-minded and wanting to answer and ask the questions and go beyond what is the norm. So we hopefully will be looking forward to seeing her and other people. Hence why I wanted to get all this intact as we do it. Important. We might do it just on Instagram actually for our first one. But she was saying about food diaries. It come up in her group, and I'm going to share, because I don't know if you've ever done one. Highly recommend you do one, because it makes you aware. And you can do thought form diaries. For those of you with me since the beginning and as founding members, you'll know we had a shadow book, our shadow thought book. Do you still have it? Maybe you can have a little look through and see how different you are from when you were looking in those and writing down those thoughts, just becoming aware of them. And if you're on this channel and you're new to my material, then go to the playlist Observing and Connecting. There's a 30-day challenge there. There's no sign up. You don't have to give me your email or anything. It's purely to help people to connect. And you can pick one video and do that for 30 days, or you can work your way through them, whatever suits you. But it's about connecting and observing yourself and reminding yourself you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions. Sitting there and crying if that's what you need for 30 days to grieve. Allowing, observing that pain and disconnecting from attaching to a story around it, or allowing yourself to go beyond it. That's that shadow. That's that like womb, like the resistance, allowing it to come up. I want to pull the covers over my head. I'm not in depression, but if I am feeling that way, I'm going to move myself out of it. And sometimes it's acknowledging that emotion that allows us to do it. Now, this has been way video longer for the two cards than I had planned. So I'm going to conclude here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I will be doing them shorter. I just felt like, because today is the 9/11 and there's that shadow energy, I really need to speak of that and the duality about all of the alien-y, ET, extraterrestrials, interdimensional, whatever you want to call it, future stuff. The pink elephant in the room, if you like, for stuff that's being talked about or you might be hearing about. I felt it's important to address it from the heart. I hope I've done that. Hope I haven't scared you. And if I've triggered you, remember always our triggers are a learning curve and a growth point. Exactly what the card is saying. Anyway, love and blessings. Thank you for your time. Please give me a thumbs up or a like, or share this video with someone that you feel would benefit. At the moment, I've posted this while I'm recording it live. It's for my members. I'm speaking to you guys, but I'm going to put this particular one up in the free bit in the membership. So that's for you. Take care. Have a beautiful day.